welcome to episode 15 of Games My Mom Found. We are coming at you on 4/21/2019, and I am Mike Albertin, and who are the Pokemon trainers with me today?
Hello, it's me, DJ Copland. Go, Pikachu, I choose you.
And I want to be the best, Stefan JD there ever was.
And I'm Stuart Hughes. And Meow, that's right!
Okay, that was
nice.
funny.
Bring it home.
Oh. And DJ, you want to introduce the lovely game you made us play this week?
Yes, I made us all play Pokemon trading card game for the Game Boy Color because I've always been curious about this game. I think I played it once at a friend's house, thought it was too hard, and put it down. And I was like, you know what? I never learned how to play the trading card game. And I decided I would put this on the list for the show. And wouldn't you know, I got addicted to it. It's like the only game we've done that I've gotten like straight up addicted to.
It's a good
like
game.
I went out and bought cards because of this. It's bad.
Yeah, you can still find cards at like every grocery store in the planet, which I find.
Oh yeah.
Except it's like it's totally different now. Like this game is based on essentially the first like 3 or so expansions.
Yeah.
Like basically the basic set.
Not even all of that one, right?
Because there's the original set, there's Fossil, and then there's Jungle that all came out around the same time. Because I remember buying all those booster packs when I was a kid.
And I think you'll find all of those, or at least cards from all of those expansions in this game.
Yeah.
And exclusive cards as well.
There's a few.
Yeah, there are like some Game Boy exclusive cards that have like abilities that
like Bill.
Like on random chance and shit that like wouldn't be possible. That's only possible in a video game.
Can you get Bill in any other? Is Bill like a standard Pokemon card?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah. No, like he's the base. Like he's one of the best ones. Like
Yeah,
he's
I love Bill.
like a standard thing that people like have in their decks because being able to draw 2 cards is great.
Okay.
I somewhere I still have my Pokemon card collection somewhere.
I'm just gonna say like this is me. This is also my opportunity to call out my younger self for being an idiot because like I collected the cards when I was a kid, but I just refused to learn the rules of the trading card game because it just looked too complicated to me. Like there's counters, and there's a bench, and you have to like there's all this shit you have to keep track of and do. And I was like, I don't want to do that. That doesn't sound fun. And guess what, young me? It is fun. Fucked up.
It's a lot. Like it took when I played this as a kid. Because I played the card game, the real card game, which I didn't like playing. I just collected the cards. But with the Game Boy Color game,
I think honestly, I think that's probably the truth for most kids who collect.
Yeah,
like we didn't give a shit about the game. We just wanted the holofoil Charizard. Like
it was fun.
That's basically it.
Oh
man, I remember when I was a kid, I was with one of my friends at a bowling alley, and they had some kind of event where they were like giving out booster packs for like bowling a game, and we were given like he and I were presented with 2 booster packs, and I was given first pick, and then the one he got had a holofoil Dragonite in it, and I was so mad.
I remember
I tried to trade him for it, but like I knew that wasn't gonna work. That's
the jealousy.
I was so jealous.
I had this game as a kid, and you think you're kicking yourself? I had this game as a kid, and I got the Meowth card with it without realizing it because I just loved Meowth, so I just had that card. I think we sold it at a garage sale. I was like looking to see, like, because I knew it was an exclusive. I was looking to see like what that card is valued at now. It's like $800.
Damn.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
That's rent.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh, and since we hadn't said it earlier, this game did come out in April in 2000 for the Game Boy Color, and then only ever got re-released on the 3DS in 2014.
Yep.
And it has a Japanese sequel that never hit the States,
which I really want to play now.
From what I understand, there's like an English like mod for it if you emulate.
You can also get like repro carts of the English version.
Okay.
Yeah. You can just get a repro cart like off eBay, and it's like $8.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
So there's weird things where I'm totally for like any sort of pirating because there's no way to play it in English otherwise.
Oh, yeah.
They're never gonna port it now.
This is one of the few instances where I'll be like, yeah, guys, pirate this because like, what's like Nintendo doesn't want you to buy it anyway. So
the only other way to do it would be to learn Japanese and find the Japanese copy somehow.
Yeah.
Which I don't even know. I guess what a Game Boy Color games still work. I know like there is a period at which cartridges just stop working.
Yeah, I mean CDs stopped working too after a while, but I know.
No, I haven't heard that about cartridges. I mean, certain like components, like I have an old copy of Pokemon Ruby where the clock doesn't work anymore because that's like a separate component that stopped working. That like stops working after a certain amount of time. So the in-game clock does not work anymore on my copy of Ruby.
The last
and I've heard that like CDs like they just sort of fade over time, like, and so like after a certain amount of time, you just won't like the data will just like have evaporated and it won't be there anymore. But I haven't heard that about cartridges. I think cartridges are supposed to be supposed to have a longer shelf life.
I think I want to say it wasn't too long ago when the first like Tamagotchis were officially announced dead because like the little battery in the like memory section of them was only set to last for so long, and they were like, well, it's past this point, so all Tamagotchis are dead now. It's like the original Gen 1 Tamagotchis are now all officially dead. They are extinct.
Those poor Tamagotchis.
Yeah, it is weird because it's the first is it the first digital life to go extinct?
I feel like it is. I
mean,
something that was common. I mean, common when I was growing up. Oh, but one thing I did want to ask: what deck did everybody start with?
I started with Squirtle because he's my buddy.
I picked Charmander because I love Charmander.
I think I also did. I did Squirtle, and I learned to hate it by the end because I picked up because this game is so RNG based. I had almost entirely water Pokemon. I just couldn't get other Pokemon.
I also picked Squirtle. Yeah.
No love.
I think I should have gone Bulbasaur in hindsight because I think he would have been easiest to start with, but which is kind of like this. Now I think about it, is the same as the actual games, which is kind of cool. But
I basically accidentally built the bitchiest deck on the planet, which is kind of what I did as a kid. Where I got like only water Pokemon, and then the only actual other Pokemon I could pick up were like Jigglypuff and Chanseys. And so, what is it called? Like a stall deck, where I just had a stall deck where I just couldn't. Nobody could move.
I won.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
One of the gym leaders like that. I wasn't using the stall deck, but I was able to make him draw enough cards using some of the cards I had, and he was doing it too. Yeah. I only beat him by him running out of cards. He would have murdered me otherwise. I just couldn't beat one of his Pokemon.
Because I had nothing but water Pokemon and Chanseys and Jigglypuffs, I think I beat 3 gym leaders that way. I was like, oh god, I know if you get a hit on me, we're all fucking dead. So we're just gonna run out the clock.
I mean, it works.
So maybe we should explain for those who don't know some of the basics of this game. So this game was basically like marketed in the day as like a way to learn the card game. It actually came with like a special promo card, I think.
Special Meowth card.
Yeah.
An $800 Meowth card. Mine would not have gone for 800. It was well loved. I use that Meowth card all the time.
And this game is actually pretty cool because it's essentially the same setup as the Pokemon, like the actual Pokemon games. Like they have the same setup where it's 8 gyms and then the Elite Four. It's the same basic structure, but it's a little more. Actually, this is something I wanted to bring up. The Pokemon trading card game from 2000 is less linear than Pokemon now.
Yeah,
less linear than Pokemon has ever been. You can do all the gyms in any order you want.
Yeah, it's like a Mega Man game where you just like it just shows you all the maps. And you're like, all right, here, do what you want to do.
Yep.
That's a really good comparison, actually.
Well, because I saw that and I was thinking, I was like, is there an order that like you're recommended to do these in? Like, is it like Mega Man where like there's a kind of understood way of doing it, or?
I think it wants you to do the water gym first. because the trainers there only play for 2 prizes.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 2 prize games and 3 prize games, and every other gym does 4 prize and up. So I think that's meant to be the first one you do because the trainers are the easiest.
I did water, and then immediately I got more water Pokemon, so I was like, I guess I've got no choice but to do fire because I'm not hitting that fucking electric gym yet.
I did water last because my fire deck. I had a grass deck I had to make too, but I had a tough ass time with that water gym.
Yeah, man, you guys gotta grind.
Is that who's the water gym leader? That's not Ken, right?
No,
the water Amy, I think was her name.
Okay, Ken was my favorite to play against because I think he had the coolest music in my mind. It's like jazzy.
Oh, that's another thing I wanted to mention about this game. Like we hadn't talked about yet. Whatever you would do is you'd walk through, go to different gyms, and then you would challenge the members of the gym. And each time you beat them, you get 2 booster packs. And different trainers give you different booster packs. There's like 4 different kinds that you get throughout the game.
Yeah, there's 4 different expansions.
Laboratory.
There's Coliseum, Evolution, Laboratory, and Mystery.
Okay.
Oh, Ken was fire. Okay, that's why I thought it so early.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was. I knew it wasn't water. I couldn't remember who it was. None of these gym leaders stood out to me as anyone I'm going to remember like I would in a regular Pokemon game.
I remembered a couple of them because they were so like wacky. Because you had Ken who was like he had he looks like if the Fire Ice dude from My Hero Academia was just fire. Like he has the red hair pushed down and he has like the jazzy music for some reason, so he stood out. And then Gene, who was like the rock club master, just looked like older Professor Oak. And so he really stood out to me too. Because I kept getting Professor Oak cards and then looking at Gene and just going like, this is the same fucking dude.
Apparently this game features a cameo from the president and CEO of the Pokemon company, Ishihara.
Yes, Ishihara.
As,
you go to his house to trade Pokemon cards with him.
Yeah. Imakuni is the costume guy that...
Oh, yes. Imakuni is So Imakuni is like this well-known figure in the card game. He's like this comedy musician who's like well-known in Japan, who for some reasons was used to promote the card game and had his own cards in the game, and he's basically Tingle. He's like this game's version of Tingle.
That's a good comparison.
That's a really good comparison.
Yeah.
I mean, he's even dressed similarly. Like he's wearing this weird black one-piece bodysuit with Mickey Mouse ears on it. And he has and he uses, and this is a real card. He has a card, the Imakuni card, which when you play it confuses your own Pokemon.
Yeah.
And like, there's no reason you would want to ever play this card. It's like it's a joke card.
Yeah, there's literally no upside whatsoever.
Yeah, but the cool thing is that he will, every time you boot up the game, he will randomly appear in one of the gyms, and if you beat him in a card duel, he will give you one of each booster pack, which is really helpful for grading.
Oh, that is cool.
And in that way, he also kind of felt like, I forget the name of the guy in the Pokemon Red and Blue, but he kind of felt like your rival in this game, like that bad rival you always run into.
This game does have a rival character.
Right,
Ronald.
But right.
Yeah, that famous Ronald.
That is such a like perfect like I hate that guy name. It's like fucking Ronald.
Apologies to all Ronalds.
Like it's just so satisfying to say that way. It's like, oh, fucking Ronald.
I think his card is called like Legendary Ronald. Like, isn't his deck called like Legendary Ronald?
The Legendary Ronald deck. That's his.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of different Ronald decks. I think the Legendary Ronald deck is his last one. That he has in the championship round. Spoilers. But
no spoilers for this game.
That's the other thing is like, oh, you know what? I remember why I thought like why people remember like Gary or Blue from the original games as being like the best rival, and why people are like, oh, the jerk rivals are the best rivals, and it sucks there are no jerk rivals in Pokemon anymore, because Ronald's a jerk, and it's great. It's like super satisfying to beat him. Like,
I find it really funny that he looked like
that because it really works.
I kept imagining him because he looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh character rather than a Pokemon character. He's like just a little bit more out there, and I just kept imagining him as like a conversation happening at Nintendo. We're like, hi, we're just gonna throw Ronald in there. We're gonna make him look like a Yu-Gi-Oh character because fuck Yu-Gi-Oh.
It's time to do the duel.
I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh was a thing yet. I think Yu-Gi-Oh didn't come to the States until next year.
Yeah, I don't think it was. Oh god, when did Yu-Gi-Oh was way later, but it's just like I kept looking at it. Like,
no, Yu-Gi-Oh was like 2001. So this is like
was 1999 actually.
This beat Yu-Gi-Oh to the States by a year, I think.
The original run of the manga was in 1996, so that would have preceded the game by like 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, but the manga, the actual, but like Yu-Gi-Oh's weird because it didn't become about the actual card game until like the third or fourth arc of the manga.
Well, the show it didn't become about the card game until like the 6th season or like the 6th remake of whatever.
Exactly. And that's the only part of the show that we got. And that's the part of the show that got, that the card game got based on and got marketed. And
the show is so bad about the fucking card game.
The card game didn't come out till 2002 in March in America.
Oh, wow. It's even later than I thought.
Yeah, so the Pokemon was... Because I remember Pokemon being the phase, and I remember it switching over to Yu-Gi-Oh! Eventually.
Yep. No, I remember I was 9 years old when Yu-Gi-Oh! Came on the scene.
I remember I was too cool for Yu-Gi-Oh! When it came out. I remember that much.
Nobody's too cool for Yu-Gi-Oh! Mike.
I was getting older.
I have to apologize because there's actually 4 Ronald decks. There's the I'm Ronald deck. I forgot about that one. The Powerful Ronald deck, the Invincible Ronald deck, and the Legendary Ronald deck.
Yes. I think those are... I love those names. They're so hilarious.
It's like it's the equivalent of like if you gave a 12-year-old a Pokemon deck and you're like, named it something cool.
Yep.
I'm Ronald.
I didn't even know the decks had names really. I played through this and I enjoyed it, but I paid no attention to anything other than the battling. Like that's all I didn't give a shit about anything else in this game.
Yeah, I mean, well, it is about the card game. Like everything else is incidental, pretty much.
It's a video game about a card game about a video game. So.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And like the thing is, I really like the card game. Like I started playing this and I was like, oh man, I really like this. Like I've tried getting into other trading card games and it was like, yeah, this is kind of all right. I tried Magic for a little while and it was really complex and
very complicated.
Yeah, and Yu-Gi-Oh is just feels really unbalanced.
It's a mess.
But yeah, but like Pokemon is great. Like Pokemon is a great trading card game.
I think it's Yu-Gi-Oh where I think at one point, I could be wrong about this, but I think in Yu-Gi-Oh at one point for tournaments, they pretty much banned every like legendary card because they're just so ridiculously unbalanced.
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah.
Because they're all completely overpowered because that's the point. Because like it's so weird because I think the TV show just kind of bled over into the game a little too much.
Yeah, well, people were like using
that's the whole
Exodia
thing about
every
anime
fucking turn.
is that there constantly have to be more powerful things. Just like people one-upping each other with more powerful shit. Like that's half of all shonen anime.
You can't get out of all your problems by summoning Exodia, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, exactly. So like all those ridiculously overpowered anime cards
doesn't he call it
have
the first
to be
episode?
the actual game. So it's completely imbalanced.
He loses it the first or second episode. He shows it to Weevil, and he throws it over the boat.
A little bitch, and he throws him over the side of the boat.
And
How do you not get like? I would think like if that show was at all realistic, he would have thrown them over the boat, and then some like official would have walked out and be like, "All right, you're disqualified from the tournament. you can't screw with other people's decks, Weevil. Come on, you creepy fucking bastard."
Yeah, except it's freaking Pegasus, and he doesn't give a shit.
Fucking Weevil. I hated Weevil so much as a kid.
I watched a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh when I was a kid because I was starting to get out of trading card games. I mean, this is the thing that got me into trading card games, and then I started to kind of slip out of it. And I remember watching very little of the show, but it was a couple years ago. I went back and watched the first 5 seasons of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh wow, how rough was it?
I enjoyed 4 of them a lot.
I loved the Pokemon show, and then I had a friend that was like a little bit younger than me, and he, of course, loved Yu-Gi-Oh! Probably for the same reasons I loved Pokemon.
No,
So I was just like, we had to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Again, and we had to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! With him, and I was just like, oh man, just Pokemon's so much better.
the first 3 seasons Yu-Gi-Oh! Are good up until they get to the Atlantis crap. When they start going to Atlantis, and I'm done. That show gets
that like
bad.
early tournament is great.
Yeah, the early tournament's good. The second tournament, Lakaiba's tournament, is really good. That lasts for 2 seasons. All that is very entertaining, and then it gets into a whole other world.
Because there were so many card games coming out, and just the show, like every show I was watching then, I really wanted them in my mind. I really wanted somebody to make a Yu Yu Hakusho card game. It's like this needs to happen.
A lot.
So good.
All right. Well, now we got a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fix out of the way.
Yeah.
We hadn't really explained how the Pokemon trading card game works. So you make your deck, you have your basic creatures, but you have to evolve them, which is one thing that makes this game different. Well, we see compared to some other games. Yeah. You put your Charmander out, then you got to wait to get your Charmeleon, put him out, and then each turn you're allowed to put one energy card on a Pokemon. The energy card is what lets them do their abilities, and lets them attack and make the game work.
It's effectively like one extra step more than you would do in Pokemon Red or Blue. You have to apply energy. Yeah.
You got to think ahead.
Right. But it's also different from other trading card games, because in other trading card games, your resources, your mana, your energy, your whatever, usually they're required just to put monsters on the field. But in Pokemon, you could just put as many Pokemon out on your bench as you want a turn. It's you need the energy to power their attacks. That's what you need it for. And you can actually exploit that. You can exploit that for a lot of like really fun, really cheesy strategies, which I'll get into a little later. Yeah.
One of the weird things that took me off guard for a second at the beginning was that there's a lot of management going on here, especially with your deck. And because this is on a Game Boy game, you go through like 5 different screens during battle to kind of like select what you're going to do.
So if there's one thing to complain about with this game, it's definitely like the interface and the menus. And that's no fault of this game, because all they had was 2 buttons and a D-pad. And they managed to make it work for the most part. But there are parts of the deck management that are, more clunky than they need to be. And especially with building decks and having different decks, because something I never understood, you can have 5 decks at a time. They all share the same cards. You can't, if you have only 20 if you have only like 20 fire energy, you can't have 2 fire decks. Like you have your fire deck, and then that's all your fire energy, because you can't use any of it for your second deck because it's already in use with your first deck. Like even if because it makes no sense to me for those cards to be used up, because if you're using that other deck, you're not using the first deck, so you're not using those cards. So you might as well just have them available, but you can't do that. So what you have to do is you have to save decks. There's like this machine in the professor's lab where you can save decks you've created, and that's how you like save your decks. So there's like a weird extra step to have multiple decks. It's weird, but
I circumnavigated that problem by only having 1 deck. So I was like, I do not trust myself to build a second deck.
I basically just built 1 deck at a time. I would just dismantle whatever deck I had, which is dumb because like, even dismantling a deck, you need to have more than 1 deck for some reason to dismantle your current deck to build a new deck. I don't get it. It's really there are some things that are just really annoying. So you would have to like take out all of your cards one by one in order to erase your deck just to build a new deck.
It's the equivalent of going like I have this deck and I want to change some cards in it. Oh, the only way to do that is to take out some cards and put it in another deck. Like, you can't just take it out and put it on a table and be like, all right, I'll do this later.
Yeah.
It's like the most confusing way of doing it.
It's a weird game.
Yeah. There are things that are just a little too clunky, but that's really my biggest complaint about this game. Like, otherwise, it's the card game, and the card game is great.
And you do feel like you're playing a card game too. I mean, it does have art on the cards like you would expect on the Pokemon cards. So it's trying to be the card game.
Really cool art too. Like the Grimgar art I saw was like fucking phenomenal looking.
Oh yeah.
Look, like those the art on the cards is the actual art from the cards in the game at that time.
It was like a little bit more stylized too, which was nice.
Yeah,
I don't know if that was just because it was on the Game Boy, but it looked really cool.
And they did a really good job with it.
And you have a few exclusive cards, all the ones that had the GB, they were all the exclusive ones that they made just for the game.
Yeah.
Like
those had like I said before, those weird like random chance abilities that you couldn't really do in a physical card game.
And I like the fact that the whole story of this game is all you just trying to get the 3 legendary cards, I want to say.
4 legendary cards.
4. Oh, Dragonite. Yeah. I forgot about Dragonite.
Was Dragonite the one that sucked?
Yeah.
I didn't use them. I didn't use any of them because I would have done that. I was done with the game. But I thought they were cool.
Well,
they all look cool.
Legendary Dragonite has an ability where when you put it on the field, it heals all the rest of your Pokemon,
and that's cool.
Which is kind of neat. But otherwise, it sucks. Like its regular attack is actually worse than the regular Dragonite.
Yeah.
I always liked the Dragonite card. I don't know. I never used it, but I just thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I ended up with a Rattata just because I always fucking do. But that card looks pretty good.
I never used Rattatas. I mean, I did. My favorite card to use for battle, I didn't get it till mid-game, was Hitmonchan in my fire fighting deck.
Hitmonchan is great.
Well, actually, fire and 1 fighting Pokemon deck is what it became. Just Hitmonchan.
He's like a super balanced Pokemon. He's almost like a Blastoise in a sense.
Yeah, Hitmonchan is really good. He has a good attack. He only needs 3 energy. He's got a decent amount of HP, and he's a single stage, so you don't need to set him up with evolution. It's really good. Like he's good. Like him and Pinsir and Scyther are like 3 of the best like cards in the game because they're just like single stage. You can get them out. They have decent attack power. They have decent HP. It's great.
Pinsir was awesome. I used him to win a few tough battles.
Pinsir's
also
great.
Another one that saved my ass in this game was Rapidash because their second ability.
Rapidash is fantastic.
You can and by the way, in this game you cannot alter the coin flip. You could do a save state before or something. That coin is already way decided for you when you start the match. All the coin flips are already decided. You cannot alter it in any shape or form.
Yeah. You see all these sheets online in like the FAQs. It was like, no, if you press the button right at this point, then you can get a heads every time. It's like, no.
Yeah.
It's random. It's a coin flip.
I remember as a kid when I first, because I have vivid memories of biking with my friend, and we got off our bikes and we were sitting down playing this game, talking about it, and I remember thinking with the coin flip you could hit 8 the right time and I get heads, and when I realized that doesn't work. There's nothing. Completely random.
I just like too that like every single duel you have, like 90% of the duel seems to be determined by a coin flip.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of luck-based mechanics in this game.
Reminds me of like the Charlie McDennis episode of Always Sunny, where they like the whole episode's been playing this insanely stupid card game based on every single card game in existence, and the end is like it's like a tie. And they're like, "What do we do? We've never had a tie before." And Frank looks at the rule book. He's like, "In the case of a tie, both opponents must flip a coin." That's it. Oh yeah, okay.
I hate that fact. That brings up something else I wanted to mention. There's nothing to do with this, but I'm going to tell anyway. When I was I think I was 10 or 11, I went to a Pokemon tournament at the mall where I was living in Milwaukee.
It's always at the mall.
I had lost my first match, or somehow I think the guy had I remember as a kid thinking he froze the Game Boy because I was beating him and I was fucking around with my Articuno. I was just freezing him and just messing around with him like an idiot instead of just finishing the match. And the thing froze, and then okay, we'll decide by flipping the coin. I'm like, what? We're gonna flip a coin? And they flipped the coin, and he won, and then he got heads or whatever it was, and I'm like, what? And I remember I was so upset that day.
It's so dumb.
That's BS.
But did anyone get the Mewtwo card earlier in this game to actually use it in their deck?
I got Mew.
Yeah.
I don't know what Mew does,
so
but I got Mew.
you can actually get a couple of Mewtwo's. You can get one from the challenge hall, which I think the challenge hall like becomes available after you win your third badge, and then you can also get Mewtwo after you beat the psychic gym leader from the lobby, like a different Mewtwo that you can just get in random packs. So yeah, I actually had a couple of Mewtwo's early on. I didn't find them to be super useful. They're more situational.
I didn't get it till way near the end, but I kicked in that. I want to say against Ronald, in the final match, he has it. I killed it, but it wasn't fun to take it down. He had, because he gotten enough energies on it. Because he could kick my ass. One of the strategies in this game is like, as we were talking about earlier, with stalling, where you'll put like a Chansey out and you'll stall them, and you start filling all your bench Pokemon with energy, so that they can, when you're ready, they can just come out and start kicking ass right out the door, which can really fuck up somebody if they play like me. I had a lot of weak, fast Pokemon. My goal is to get the right Pokemon early and just kick their ass.
One Pokemon that's great for that is Kangaskhan, because it's not quite as bulky. It has 98 HP, but it has a move that costs 1 energy that just lets you draw a card.
Okay.
That's all it does. It just draws a card. So it's like the perfect thing to have up front to like get the cards you need. Also, there's a strategy that I used a couple of times that I built a deck for, where you have like a bunch of colorless, like huge bulky Pokemon like Snorlax, Chansey, and then you have an Alakazam, and Alakazam has an ability where it can swap the damage of any Pokemon on your side. So if you have like Hitmonchan out and Hitmonchan takes 30 damage, Alakazam can take that 30 damage and put it onto your Chansey. So Hitmonchan can just keep on going.
Cool. Yeah. I never got Alakazam or used any of the Abra stuff. I never really used any psychic Pokemon in this version.
You guys see, in order to get like the cards that are worthwhile, you have to grind in this game. And I do recommend to anyone, get a guide. Pull up a guide that will tell you which trainers have which booster packs, and then start and which booster packs have which cards in them, and start grinding for specific cards.
I had to pull up a guide so I could know what I was doing.
Different trainers drop different rares at different rates. I was able to get most of the stuff I wanted, which was great, because then I was able to like really play around and like build some really ridiculous decks. Like there's this strategy that I found out about that's like the most ridiculous strategy in the game, and I love it so much. It's a deck called Do the Wave, where
Do the Wave.
It's built around essentially just having 4 Wigglytuffs in your deck. Wigglytuff, yeah, you see where I'm going. Wigglytuff in this game has an attack called Do the Wave, which does 10 damage plus 10 additional damage for every Pokemon on your bench. So what you do is you build a deck that has 4 Wigglytuffs, a bunch of Bills, a bunch of Professor Oaks, and then a bunch of like Scythers and Hitmonchans. And then what you do is that you just you start playing a Jigglypuff turn 1, and you just keep playing Bills, you keep playing Professor Oaks until you get a Wigglytuff, 3 energy. You have a bunch of double colorless, so you get 1 double colorless and 1 some other, and then just a bunch of any other Pokemon just to fill out your bench. And you can have all that set up by turn 2. So by turn 2, you can have a Wigglytuff that does 60 damage. And then also you have like a bunch of plus powers. So if your opponent puts out a Pokemon with 70 HP, you can knock it out in 1 hit. And you can sweep pretty much any trainer in the game with that deck. It's ridiculous.
It's not pretty funny like strategy that someone was talking about, where I guess you go in with only Scythers. You take only Scythers and you just build up your elemental, your grass element. It's just like, I can't remember. They do like insane damage every move, and so you just have like 7 Scythers rotating.
Oh yeah, because they do. Their main attack does.
It's like 20?
It's 3 energy. It's 3 colorless, and it does 30 damage. But their other move is Swords Dance, which only takes 1 energy, and what it does is it makes your slash attack on the next turn do double damage. So basically what you do is while you're building up energy, you're just spamming Sword Stance so that when you put your third energy on, you do double damage.
Nice.
And that's, it's actually really cool because it's also very useful because, like, if someone puts out, like, a Chansey or something that has moves where, oh, I can't take damage this turn, that's fine. Just use Sword Dance, and it'll take double damage next turn. It's a great Pokemon to have.
Yeah, Scyther helped me
Also, it has 0 retreat cost, which is amazing.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, they make you just switch out a Pokemon unless you use a trainer card. You have to pay. You have to sacrifice energy to return them to your bench.
Yeah, so you really have to. It's a decision that you really have to weigh. There are certain Pokemon that have 0 retreat costs, and they're so valuable. Like Rapidash is one of them. Scyther, like we mentioned. Like, man, Haunter is a great one.
I never used Haunter.
Butterfree is one of my favorites. Butterfree can be a really, really good card because it has 0 retreat cost. It has Whirlwind, which doesn't deal that much damage, but it forces the Pokemon out and forces your opponent to play another one from their bench. So you can just constantly be switching Pokemon out and dealing damage on them. And then its other move is Absorb, which does 40 damage and then heals for half, which is fantastic. So you can just sweep entire teams with Butterfree and just keep healing. And it's so good.
And I didn't use Butterfree. I got the card, but I never even looked at it. I'm like, it's
Butterfree. Dude, you missed out. Butterfree's great.
Probably. Like, it sounds like I did.
Honestly, you can build a really, really solid deck just from bug Pokemon in this game. Like, for some reason, the bug Pokemon are really good.
Which is unusual for a Pokemon game, because usually bug Pokemon are not good.
Usually bug Pokemon suck. No, in the trading card game, they're amazing. They're, like, really good.
Oh, since we're talking about decks, one of the questions that we had from Tony Chris, or however you pronounce his name, sorry, sir, if you're listening, he wanted to ask why was Rain Dance such an awesome deck, and I don't even know what the Rain Dance deck was.
Rain Dance is fantastic. So this is if you have a Blastoise. So Blastoise has an ability called Rain Dance, where again, it's another super broken ability, which I did use a lot, especially at the beginning. Where basically it just breaks the rules entirely and lets you put as many water energy as you want every turn onto any Pokemon.
Okay, that's awesome.
So, like, I had a Gyarados. I had, like, a Gyarados and a Dugong. Gyarados and Dugong, by the way, also excellent. Dugong is freaking amazing in this
he kicked
game.
My ass.
Dugong is a great one. But you can just, like... Like Gyarados in this game kicks ass, but it has a ton of energy investment. It takes like 4 energy to do its best attack, and so you can just have a Gyarados and just put 4 energy on it in one turn, and then just like decimate everybody if you have a Blastoise out.
Man,
it's
cool.
Bonkers.
I should have made a water deck. My fire deck got me through majority of the game. Other than there was only 2 trainers that really fucked me up. Even with my grass deck, that one of the Elite Four, I think he was a third one, the Ice guy who had the Dugong.
Yeah.
It took me about 5 to 7 tries to finally beat him, just because I couldn't get the right cards.
You know how many tries it took me?
One with that
took
deck?
Me 1 try. You know why? You know why?
What?
Fucking Wigglytuff.
Oh, you do the wave? We see you looked up strategies, but again, you were passionate about this game, and I was like,
got in. I had a. Like, this game, I would start playing at 8 and then look up and it was 3 in the morning. I was like, oh, shit. Okay.
I've been trying to figure out this entire time.
It was bad. Like, I had to force myself to stop playing it.
I'm glad you picked it, though. I'm glad. It was nice to go
me too.
It's really memory lane.
I've been trying to figure out which person you fight that has like 3 fucking flying Pikachus, because they were pissing me off. I can't remember who did it.
Oh yeah.
It might have been Steve, the
girl
Grandmaster.
In the electric gym who just loves Pikachu and just has a deck with nothing but different Pikachus.
It's nothing but Pikachus, and the flying Pikachu is such a fucking annoying asshole of a card.
Yeah, because it's resistant to fighting, which is what it's usually weak to.
Yeah, it's resistant to fighting, and it just flips a coin, and if it's heads, you're paralyzed. It's just like,
oh man, paralyzed.
And she has like 3 of them.
Yep.
I don't think I fought her.
Yeah, that sounds annoying.
Yeah, I don't think she might not have been. Yeah, I guess she wasn't a master. I think she was just a person in a gym, and I wanted to like go back and kill her afterwards. It was like, you fucking bitch, you're flying Pikachu.
I skipped some. I was kind. I mean, some of the gyms I got to a point where I was pretty happy with my cards. Where I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna beat them and keep going because I was content with my decks.
I was just so happy every time I saw a flying Pikachu because the card art is like really fantastic. Where it's just Pikachu with a bunch of balloons tied to him. And I was like, oh, and then I read what it did, and I was like, oh, fuck me.
I remember as a kid, I remember loving the art on these cards. I still remember I went to some convention my mom had took me to at the state fairgrounds, and it's my first ever being at any type of convention or sale type thing. We're walking around. I remember I bought, I want to say it was like $20 at the time, a Needle King card, holographic. And I remember being so excited about that card. Never did use it much. But
would fight each other over those holographic cards.
I love Needle King. For early gen, that is probably one of my favorite Pokemon. I do not know why, but I've always liked Needle King.
It's like a rhino mixed with a rat.
Yeah, he just, I don't know.
I mean, it's cool. Like Needle King, Needle Queen, those were some of the coolest. Like Rhyhorn also is like a similar thing. Like they just look like monsters. Like they just look like really cool monsters. They could beat you up. They're great. I kind of miss when Pokemon looked like that, you know.
Another thing I wanted to mention is because of us playing this game, DJ had me enter another world of misery. I downloaded the Pokemon trading card game online thanks to you.
Oh yes. Well, that one's just like buy the cards. Like it's very, it's not subtle at all. But they want you to buy the cards.
It's great for editing, like you were doing. It's great for editing a podcast.
Oh yeah. It's great to pass the time while you're editing. Another game actually that I recommend for that is Slay the Spire, which is a card game, but it's a roguelike. It's really good.
Look that up. I have a weak spot for any type of game like this one where you have a card game, but you also have some kind of like story or quest mode that you're trying to do, and you get cards for winning. I mean, that to me makes me
I do like that a lot. I in general really like the RPG, like applying an RPG framework to stuff that's not actual like RPG gameplay.
I was disappointed by in this game, which I feel like for this to be a game based on the card game itself, like specifically the card game, not Pokemon, but the Pokemon card game. What I really wanted was for every time you go to a gym, if you look outside, like your mom and like she's sitting in a minivan waiting for you. I thought that would have been fucking hilarious.
That would have been great.
Just like drive you all across the country.
And so you're saying you need to be more like Earthbound, where you can call your dad.
Mom, I lost.
Oh God!
All right, we'll come back next week. It'll be fine. And like, if you lose, then you have to go get ice cream or something later. Make you feel better.
It would have been fun. But this is the Pokemon where they let 10-year-olds just run off, even if they are just playing cards.
That's true. Yeah, there's a webcomic called Punchlines Machismo that's fucking hilarious. That one of the main characters, every character is like a joke based off a video game, kind of. Like the whole conceit of the comic is it's a government office that's trying to put people from video games back into normal society. So it's like Kratos trying to sell TVs at Best Buy. And one of the characters is a Pokemon master who was kicked out of the house at 10. And he's just got his Magikarp, and his Magikarp evolved into Gyarados by he literally used the Magikarp as like a blunt force weapon. Was just swinging it around and beating Pokemon to death with it. He's like, I don't understand how to play this game.
Why does that sound funny? But it does.
It's really funny. It's a great comic.
There are some funny attacks in this game. Like I always get a kick out of playing. I think it's Starmie, and like all Starmie can start doing for attack is slap.
Yeah.
Like I can just imagine a Starmie going up to another Pokemon, just saying, "Let's duel," and slapping it.
One thing I've always wanted from Pokemon is for them to make Meowth more like Meowth from the show, where he has a move that's like Persuade, and he just turns into a con man trying to sell the other Pokemon something.
And you flip a coin to see if you get yes or no. Everything in this game is flip a coin, I swear.
Coin flip, yes or no. You get heads, you sell them a vacuum.
DJ, I can't remember. Did you mention the rabbit hole you went down after we started with the real trading cards yet?
I mean, I bought a bunch of decks. I bought. Well, it's funny because I started buying a lot of the. They're just sitting on my shelf now. It's just there's $60 down the drain, and it's and it's interesting. It was educational at least because I got to look at some of the newer cards, and wow, there has been a power creep for sure. Just like in the video games, actually. Everything is way more powerful now, and they have a bunch of extra mechanics like the GX and EX cards, and it's kind of honestly I kind of prefer the original. I prefer the game. I prefer the Game Boy Color game, honestly, because it's way more basic and way more balanced. And honestly, the trading card game is a giant money sink. In order to get any of the cards you want, you actually want, in order to get the cards you need to build a deck that's actually viable, you have to basically just buy 100 booster packs.
Sounds about right.
This is why I will,
you have to.
This is why I will never collect cards again.
You have to just pay $200, $300 to get all the cards in the current expansion, in whatever expansion you want the cards in. So there are people who play competitively who just buy out, spend hundreds of dollars buying out every single expansion just to get the cards they need, and it's ridiculous. And it's I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. No, it's.
And I would much rather play the Game Boy Color game where all you have to do to get the cards you want is just spend a few hours grinding. Which, that it takes a lot of time and can be monotonous, but you can do it while you're watching TV.
Yeah. You don't have to pay a whole lot.
And you don't have to pay any money.
I can only say so much about that because I have put an embarrassing amount of money into Pokemon Go. I'm just ooh, I like that shirt.
I haven't put.
I'll put $5 down.
Pokemon Go. I never put any money in that game yet, but I did max out my bag in that game finally.
I had to put money in to get the bigger backpack because people keep sending me shit, and I'm just I can't fucking carry this many goddamn pineapples.
Yeah, you gotta get. I got lucky and got a gym not that far from my house, and there's not a lot of people that go to it, so we switch off and beat each other and take over the gym and switch off who's in it. It works out.
There's
unwritten rule. We don't talk to each other.
It's just a little too far away from my house. I could walk there, but the amount I would have to walk is maybe 100 meters down the road. It's not that far. And I just I don't want to walk such a little distance to hit the gym and just be standing in the street and then come back.
Oh, I do it all the time. But I love Pokemon Go.
The main reason I like my school is because it now has 2 Pokestops and a gym right outside. It's just that is the nice. Main requirement. I almost put that on the train. They had us do a survey, and I almost wrote the survey why do you like this school? And it was a Pokestop right outside. Gym across the street.
Do you guys have any last things you want to say about the game before we jump into some listener questions?
I think that the art is really good. The music is fantastic.
The music. We need to talk about the music. The music in this game is surprisingly excellent. It's groovy.
It is groovy is the best word for it.
Yeah.
It's got it is a straight up jam the entire time.
Yeah, it's just it's funkalicious. It's great.
I never heard it in this game.
Oh, you should have. At some point, I
gotta start playing with the sound on.
Hey. At some point, I paused the game and I just let the music play while I was doing other things. It's just really fun.
That's really good music.
A lot of it with this game was because I had podcasts going on when I was playing this because it just was so. Plus, I play in ×2 speed, so I can't have music on.
I think the music actually probably would have sounded just as good in ×2.
You can, every Pokemon game I play is in ×2 speed because they are just so freaking slow.
The music in this game was
actually, you have a run button in this game.
Yeah.
You do? Oh.
Yeah. There was a run button in this game before there was a run button in the mainline Pokemon games.
You don't get one in mainline till Fire Red, Leaf Green, which is not till GBA. If I remember.
No, you get one in Ruby Sapphire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I never played Ruby Sapphire. That's why.
Yeah.
Needs to do a Pokemon Ruby cosplay. It's such a specific cosplay, but there's somebody out there that's got to be able to do it.
Okay. You guys good with questions then? I got a few for us.
So. Yeah,
Okay.
I just like the thing I liked about the music in this game, of course, is like it was like oddly slow. Like I was expecting kind of like normal Pokemon music where it's kind of like really
No,
quick
it's way more like it's way more chill.
Yeah, it's very
It's
it's
super
very
chill.
relaxed. It's just
Yeah.
really like easy music to listen to.
It's yeah. This is like a great chill out game.
This is the
Like
art.
you
It
just
was, yeah.
lie on the couch,
Music.
put on the TV, play Pokemon trading card game for Game Boy Color. Like it's great. That's it. That's your Sunday afternoon, man.
And you
That's
see, if
what
we
kids
recorded this last week, we could have went with your early joke and have been perfect with that other comment just now.
Yeah.
Nice chill out game for April.
Yeah.
People are still fine. I mean,
All
what?
Yeah, they are. I
Put
First question I
4
wanna
energy on my level 20 Electabuzz.
First question I want to read from Alan Halterman. How many of you had to learn the card game from scratch to play this game?
I did.
Ooh,
Basically,
yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't played.
I did.
since a
Honestly,
kid.
it didn't take me that long.
I played as a
picked up
kid,
on it pretty quick.
and I had to like rely on my knowledge of what I did as a kid. Where I was just like, I know as a kid I was just that asshole that played like the stall decks because I was just like, even if I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna make you work for it. Or better yet, my idea was like, if I can like extend this game long enough, the other person will just get annoyed and start making a lot of mistakes because I'll just be like the most annoying player. And so I had to go back on that knowledge because like just by playing an AI, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna make this last as long as possible, and just hope that like I win some coin flips down the road.
That's what this game is all about.
Yeah. Just gonna stall for those coin flips, man. I think
Stefan,
it's coin flips.
Yeah.
Stefan, did you have any experience with this before we picked it? For,
I mean, I collected them all and I had them all. And sadly, when I asked my mom, I was like, "Hey, do you still have my Pokemon cards?" She's like, "Yeah, I do." I was like, "Great, because they're worth a lot of money." And she was like, "Oh, okay, well, I'll save them for you." And then I went over there, and she had forgot that we had this conversation and gave them away to the neighbor's kid.
Shit.
Yeah. So other than that, no, I haven't. But like, even playing this game, it's so basic. It's not that hard to get. Like I've played more complicated games.
Oh yeah,
just,
it's very simple, but it's just fun, man. I really like this game.
Yeah, it's not just like reading and like thinking about how each card could be played.
Yeah. I mean, it's like any
Pokemon has
other
one of
trading
those-
card game. It's
yeah.
about synergies, right?
Yeah.
It's about
Yeah, Pokemon
building a
is,
deck that.
Oh God, would you
It's
say? I,
about building a strategy.
I think Pokemon might be like kind of the pinnacle of card games where it's the easiest to learn and like it's not that hard to master, but it's just hard enough where like once you get it, you'll feel really good about learning.
Well,
like,
yeah, I mean,
strategy.
it's a lot like like actual Pokemon, like the game, competitively, where it really all depends on your opponent.
Yeah.
I have another question. Oh, this one, Darius or DJ kind of answered on Facebook, but I thought it was funny, so we're going to read it on here. From James O'Dent, did you regret not knowing about giving that one dude all your energy at that one lobby? Why is your answer yes?
Yeah. There's this dude in one of the lobbies who asks for all your energy, and you say yes, he just takes all your energy cards that aren't currently in a deck. But he tells you, I think he tells you where a rare card is.
Apparently,
he also
you can
takes
cheat
all
that
your
as well.
energy.
Where I think if you have like a second deck, you can put all but one energy in it.
Yeah,
Or it takes your energy, he'll
basically,
take one.
the play there is you just make like dummy decks out of all energy cards.
That was the only time
Just
I made
put all
like a
your
second
energy in
deck.
there,
Really.
and then you ask him. I actually saved. I actually asked him, and I was like, "You give me all your energy." I was like, "No," and then I saved, and then I said yes just to see what would happen. So I was able to just reload and get all my energy back.
I don't remember this.
I didn't talk to him either. He's just one of the lobby.
You got to talk to everybody.
I
Man,
didn't
good
do
stuff
that.
happens.
Yeah, it's a Pokemon game. Talk to everybody.
You know, that's you really do get a lot of in the early Pokemon games. You get a lot of items like that I didn't realize. So I was an adult going back and playing them. But that's another story. I got two more questions I want to read. One more from Connor Campbell. How do you grind successfully in this game? It just feels so random and annoying. Which DJ did answer earlier. Just keep battling the trainers and, like you said, look up what cards you want. Which I never did.
RNG gods. Hope they're in your favor.
Yep. It took me hours to get 4 Wigglytuffs for my Do the Wave deck. It took me hours.
I will say, like, there are a lot of games that like really heavily rely on RNG. This is definitely one of them, but I wasn't as annoyed at this game.
No, it's built in a very effective way. It never feels unfair.
Yeah.
Because
it's like a coin flip, and you expect that to be kind of 50-50 anyway.
Yeah, it's 50-50, and it's built into the strategies of just a lot of the cards. And a lot of the time, the coin flips are for secondary effects, so they don't really, affect you super badly. They also keep things interesting. If there were no coin flips in this game, it would basically be completely up to just how you built your deck
and how fast.
And it would just be pitting two machines against each other. There would be no actual you wouldn't have to improvise. Like that's part of the game, is that there's a little element of chance so that you have to think on your feet.
Right.
Because otherwise it would just, all of the skill would just be in building the deck and not in actually playing the game.
It's not like XCOM where the entire game is based on stat readout. It's just enough that it's not infuriating. If it goes wrong, it just kind of keeps the game lively.
Yeah, it's integrated very well. It's part of the game.
Yeah, it does fit well. I mean, it annoyed me sometimes, but it fit really well in the game.
It's Final Fantasy Tactics.
It's risk. It's accepted risk, right? It's just like it's just like the mainline games. You have a move like Hydro Pump, which has 100 base power or 120 base power, but only 80 accuracy. So one time in 5, you're going to miss. And people in the competitive scene still put Hydro Pump on their Pokemon because they decided it's worth the risk. And if they miss, they work with it. They work through it. That's part of the game.
Oh,
right.
And then last question to read from Jose D. Garcia. Would you play an updated version of this on Switch today?
Absolutely,
yeah.
Without even thinking about it.
I think it's such a weird game too, just in terms of, because what it is, like what DJ said earlier, it's a game that's invented to teach you how to play Pokemon, the card game.
Right.
The Pokemon games don't really do that the same way this does. And that's just a weird enough idea that I really love it. I would love to see this on Switch. They're just
they're not going to do that. They've got their online version, and it's sort of tied. It's tied to the actual cards that you have to purchase. Mm-hmm. So that in order to get cards in the game, you have to actually spend money.
Most people I know just play the Pokemon games rather than play.
Yeah, I really just, they're not going to do it. But all I really want is just the trading card game on Game Boy Color, but for Switch. I just want them to make a new version of that, where just put all the expansions or however many expansions in the game and let me grind for the booster packs in game. Just put it. Don't make me spend money. Just let me actually, and give me the whole RPG, beat the gym leaders thing. Just let me do that again. I will pay $60 for that. I will absolutely pay full retail price just to be able to do that. Please, Nintendo, please do this. Please do this.
I could see them doing it if they came out with we're kind of past the era of weird peripheral controls and stuff. You don't really see
I mean, we're not exactly. I mean, Labo is a thing.
That's true, but it's not as bad as it was with the Yu-Gi-Oh armband deck holder thing and there was a period where everything was the Pokemon stuff. I would say is I could see them doing it if those peripherals kind of style came back, where they were they came out with say a little holographic projector or something, and it was like the Yu-Gi-Oh show where you put cards down and I always wanted that to be a thing.
I still do.
Oh yeah, totally.
I feel like with like some AR stuff, like you could do that with like Pokemon Go
Oh
style.
my god!
Like you could really do a good
Pokemon
AR style
trading cards. That would be amazing. Why haven't they done that?
I don't know because
no, seriously,
I
why
assume
have they not done that?
I assume they've worked on it because I think like Pokemon Go was part of that was like a test for AR's capability with Nintendo games. So I could see it coming back. I would love for them to release another trading card game though in that style, and it's like an AR based game where you put a card down. If they did that,
I would buy it so fast.
Yeah, everyone would buy it. It'd be fucking awesome. I think the main issue is like you gotta wait for AR mapping to get better, which it is. It's getting better like constantly, but it's gotta get to a point where it's both better and affordable. And I think I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if like the next Nintendo console had something like that. The next handheld
could be a little while. Yeah, that.
You know what they should bring back? Chainsaw controllers.
Yeah, more chainsaw controllers. Chainsaw controllers for everything. Pokemon trading card game chainsaw controller.
Exactly.
Pokemon the chainsaw game is what they'll call it, and you trade chainsaws back and forth.
This just sounds terrible.
All right. And you have to duel. You have to do the Gears of War chainsaw duel to slam them controllers together.
Oh man. Okay.
Now, I actually have a question for you guys now that we're done with reader or listener questions. What was your favorite Gen 1 Pokemon?
Meowth.
Just in general, or in the context of the card game?
Just your favorite overall, just as maybe even aesthetically.
Oh man, that's tough actually. I need a moment.
Mine is definitely Meowth, and I have no misconceptions. It's from the show. I just thought Meowth was the coolest. Or as he's called in Japan, Nyarth, which is a terrible name.
Definitely.
No, it's Nyanth. It's Nyanth.
It's Nyarth.
It's which is because it's the same name. It's the same name. It's the noise that a cat makes, and then a
fifth.
Like that's it. It's the like I remember thinking, oh man, the Japanese name of Meowth must be something like really cool and like have some sort of other meaning, and no, it's the same exact name.
You, Mike?
Charizard, because I love
Charizard.
Dragons. I still love dragons. Let's not kid ourselves.
You're one of those people. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember if it was Gen 1. I think it was Voltion was Gen 1, right?
Why does that not? I'm pretty sure
not Voltion.
That's not a Pokemon.
It was one of EV's. What was the EV's?
Jolteon,
not Voltion.
That's what it was. Yeah. No, my favorite was Hitmonlee because he had no mouth and he wanted to scream.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I think I know who it is. I've had a good think about it.
Who was it?
And it's Poliwrath. It's Poliwrath. It's just a weird frog wearing gloves. Punch really hard.
Scream.
Those toys are so fucking weird. I like how Poliwag was like a tadpole. The rest don't look like frogs at all. They're just like weird blobs.
Well, because they're not frogs. They're not frogs. Because they're literally that line is just the middle stage between a tadpole and a frog. Like they're not fully frogged.
Because they're not fully frogged. That's going to be the name of the final evolution they introduced in Gen 27 is fully frogged.
No, that exists. It exists because in Gen 2 they introduced an alternate evolution, which was Politoed, which looked like an actual frog.
Yeah.
So that's So it's confirmed. Poliwrath is not really a frog. It's halfway between a tadpole and a frog. Which happens.
Sad. It's a frog that never becomes a full frog.
Yeah. Because the swirl on its belly is actually that actually represents like the intestines of.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Yeah, because in
people say Cubone is creepy.
Frogs where before they become a frog, like you can like their skin is translucent. You can see their intestines. So that's why there's a spiral on their belly.
That's creepy as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Learn something new.
I just know I like Jolteon because that's my buddy in Pokemon Go, and I named it Shock and Awe. I was really proud of myself when I thought of that. Shock and Awe.
Anything else you guys want to say before we about to jump into Shelf or Box?
Pokemon.
I got you.
I don't know. I feel like there is more stuff I want to say, but I can't think of it. There are other cards in this game that are like really good, but
Yeah, there's a lot.
We can just end up. Oh, I guess should we mention anything about the movies at all? Because well, I think it's important to mention because a lot of people don't know that Pokemon the first movie is getting a CGI remake.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Set to release in 3 months.
And oh man, I wonder if they'll do the promo cards with it again because they did that. They gave out promo cards.
Yes, they did.
Or promo Mewtwo cards for seeing the movie, which are actually in the game.
That'd be great
3 times for those
if you get a promo card that's like Petrified Ash, and you play and your opponent can't do anything for a turn. It's essentially skip a turn.
Oh man, skip a turn cards would be so overpowered in this game.
Yeah.
What you do is you put it down and you have to flip a coin, and if it's heads, your Pokemon cry, and if it's tails, you skip a turn.
Okay. I wanted to make a special announcement before we do our Shelf or Box. As of this recording, well, actually as of yesterday, we hit 1,000 downloads, total downloads of all time since we started the show. It took us 3 months and 6 days from our first download to hit that. So thank you everyone for taking your time out listening to us.
My initial reaction was, for whatever reason, just go like, yeah, suck it, but I don't know who I'm telling to suck it, so.
Pika.
Take that, haters who don't exist.
I just want to say thank you because that's been fucking awesome, and we're already at 1,000 as of this recording, 1,010. So I mean, we're gonna keep bringing you episodes. Please keep listening to us, and we'll keep bringing you great humor content.
Yeah, Mike was counting down those numbers. He was like checking every 5 seconds.
It was bad. It got bad near the end. We were getting so close. I'm like, come on, we're almost there.
Because it was like one left. You're like, I'm gonna make a post, and we're like, it'll be fine. It'll get there. I didn't
make it. It was my wife that did it. I was like, she's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm like, okay, here's all the stuff for it. But no, it's actually her. But no, I want to thank everyone. And then for Shelf or Box, I think since this is DJ's pick, would you want to go first?
Yeah. Obviously this is, the only reason I would hesitate to put this on my shelf is just because I would get addicted to it again. Because it's strong, man. It's real. Like the danger is real. But no, this is on my shelf. I love this game. It's great. I've put an embarrassing number of hours into this game. And it's just really fun to battle and collect all the pokes and experiment with different decks and different type combos. And
I think you mean
it's the trading card game. The trading card game is fun. This game is just it's like honestly my preferred version of it because it's the trading card game without any of the bullshit that came later. And I mean that both in terms of like the new mechanics and the power creep and like the shifting meta or whatever. And also in the sense that now, like if you want to play a video game version of this or any version of this, you have to pay ridiculous amounts of money to get cards that are even close to viable. So screw that. I'm just gonna play the digital version where I don't have to buy anything and I can just like in order to get what I want, I just have to grind. Like that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, it's on my shelf. I love this game.
I'll go next. This game is gonna go on my shelf because when my old memories of it, they weren't that great. I remember enjoying it, but I'm like, I'm way past that. And then when he picked it and I started playing it, I got to a point I couldn't stop. I beat this game about a week or so, or 2 weeks ago, long before I just couldn't stop playing it, and I really enjoyed it. So definitely on the shelf. Stuart?
I'm on the fence because I am so kind of like Pokemon has always been one of my biggest blind spots in terms of games. Like I played Red. I think I played Red and Blue. And I never picked up another Pokemon game just because I never had Nintendo handhelds. But like, so part of me is like, I don't want to put it in my box because I don't love Pokemon games. But another part of me is like I started playing Pokemon Go, and I was like, I really want to get into Pokemon now. I feel like it's probably one of the biggest blind spots I have in gaming. So I want to put it on my shelf because I want to play more Pokemon in the future. So where I'm at is like I kind of want to just like lean it against the shelf right now, and say like eventually I'll get a Switch and I'll play like Let's Go Pokemon Let's Go or Let's Go Eevee, and if I like those I'll put it on the shelf fully. But I think it's got to go in the box for right now, just because I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. Pokemon has never been like my thing though. So until I can make it my thing, it's gonna go in the box. That being said, it's a really fun game. It's just really like this is probably the most like casual game we've played, where there's like no stress involved whatsoever. We just had fun playing it. The music was great.
Change. After last week, we needed something nice. No, last week was stressful. 2 weeks ago, we needed something nice and calm.
I mean, I think we can all agree, fuck that bitch with the flying Pikachus. But other than her,
I never found her, so I was okay.
So many fucking flying Pikachus. Oh my god. But yeah, this is just a really enjoyable game.
I agree. Stefan, how about you?
I think I'm with Stuart on this one. I really enjoyed this game. It's kind of like playing, because I originally had played Red and Blue growing up, and this game is kind of like that. And I always wondered what was the difference between those ones and this game. And now that I've played this one, I see that it's basically the same thing, but it isn't. You're just doing a couple extra more steps in battle because you're actually playing the card game as opposed to like being Ash or your made up character on an adventure. And I still think I'd prefer going back to like Red or Blue or something instead of playing this, even though I did have a good time with it. And like Stuart said, it is a relaxing game. Even when it gets intense in battles, I mean, you're still you're just like, whatever, I'll get you eventually. And, it's relaxing. It's fun. But I'd prefer Red or Blue over the actual card game. I'm not a big card game player anyways. So I'm probably going to put it in the box just for that.
Okay. That makes sense. That's kind of what that's kind of how I figured this was going to go ahead of time. So, but all right, should we start our outro?
Yeah.
I think so.
All right.
Should we announce?
Oh God, I almost forgot again. I even wrote it down. Yes.
But we announced.
I'll announce next week's. Actually, Stuart, you can announce it since you reminded me.
So since we hit our 1,000 downloads, we've been thinking about doing this for a while, but now seems like a really good time with 1,000 downloads. We are going to do a bonus episode. I think what we said was released like on the middle of the week at some time.
Our
Friday.
middle of the week, but it'll be a Friday.
Yeah, the middle of our week. The end of your week.
Next week's episode.
Yeah, and it's going to be more of a, there's not really going to be a game for it. It's going to be us kind of talking about what games we like, what our history with games are, a lot of to answer a lot of listener questions about who we are, so you know that we're not just total fucking hacks talking about video games, even though we kind of are.
And I also want to, we've said it a little bit on here, the origin of the show, but I also want to tell you guys kind of how this all random thing happened. So
it'll be kind of like about the hosts.
It's going to be very random.
Yeah.
So it's going to be super boring and dumb, and you shouldn't listen to it.
Nothing we've done has been boring yet.
But I'm going to edit it. So unless it's shit, if it's shit, then DJ edited it. But if it's really good, I'm the one who edited it. But so for the next week, 2 weeks, if you have any listener questions, if you want to know anything about us as people, then send in some questions, and wish they send them in on the the Facebook group or to Mike or anybody on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and we'll throw on the list.
And also next week we are playing Captain America and the Avengers. Be our next week game.
That is how the guy sounds actually on the title screen.
We're playing the Genesis either Genesis SNES version or the arcade version, whichever one we decide to play. They're all the same game essentially. So
most likely Genesis.
We'll be spoiling Endgame, so.
No, we will not. But because Endgame won't even be out by the time we record. Well, it'll be out when we record.
My uncle works for Nintendo. He told me what happened. So.
And DJ, do you want to let us know who gave us our great intro and outro?
So our fantastic theme song comes to us from Mike Stoney, aka Bulby. It's the Cool Kids Squad off his EP Bite the Bullet. You can find Mike on his SoundCloud. You can also find him on his YouTube channel, youtube.com/Bulby or /Mr. Bulbamike. So this week he has actually a remix of a Pokemon song of Route 201 from Diamond and Pearl. It's a nice little coincidence. He's got lots of other 8 and 16-bit video game tunes like that on his channel. He also has some original works, so go and check that out.
All right, awesome. Hey, maybe he listened to our show, and that's why he's like, oh, they're doing Pokemon, I should too.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not the case, but
sure, I'm sure that's exactly why.
It has nothing to do with Detective Pikachu coming out or
Evolution. Nothing. It's us. We're more important.
Oh man, we didn't even talk about Detective Pikachu.
I'm so excited. I think we could probably list it as just like
they've got special promo cards coming out for that too.
Oh, sorry, not Detective Pikachu, Pokemon Detective Pikachu. It's different.
Oh yeah.
If you look up Detective Pikachu, you will get the game. If you look up Pokemon Detective Pikachu, you'll get the movie.
Google Tips brought to you by Gave My Mom.
Yeah. It's such a weird distinction. I guess because it's a Pokemon movie, so it has to be called Pokemon.
Well, yeah, because they had to brand it in the title.
Yeah, because people don't know who Pikachu is, so you got to make sure people know it's a Pokemon movie. It's kind of like Star Wars, where everything's got to be Star Wars trademark : whatever.
Well, I mean, yeah, you kind of have to do that when you're broadcasting to such a wide audience.
I guess, like who doesn't know that Pikachu is a Pokemon? Like, who out there is like, oh, there's a movie about Pikachu. I want to go see it, but I don't know who Pikachu is. I don't know that he's a Pokemon. It's like such a specific.
I mean, here's the thing: there are people out there who don't play video games who are like
that's true.
in their 60s who don't know who Pikachu is, but have heard the name Pokemon.
But they've said Pokemon in the trailers.
Recognition, that's what the industry runs on. That's what Hollywood runs on. Is just people remembering a name they saw somewhere one time and then being like, okay, I'll go see that movie. Like that's honestly that's the level of decision making that most people have when it comes to what movies they're going to see.
It doesn't need to be that way anymore. Like if you you can really solo a Star Wars movie without a Star Wars movie being connected to it, and people will know it's about Han Solo. Like people fucking know who Han Solo is.
Because if you saw it if you saw it just out of context in like a magazine article, just talking about this movie called Solo, you wouldn't necessarily
be a picture of like the Millennium Falcon, and people are like, yeah, that's Han Solo.
No, I agree with DJ. But I see your point. I agree
this is just a basic branded. You have to have the brand attached.
I guess it's I just don't think it's necessary anymore.
It's so important. You need to eliminate any ambiguity. That's how you get people to see the movie. Name recognition 100%. Is a powerful thing.
That's what I just don't think it's I don't think it matters with some stuff anymore. Like people know that Endgame is
it doesn't matter to a certain subset that recognizes the property, but not everyone does. A lot of people just recognize it very dimly, and they need to hear the name.
I want to meet the person who doesn't quite know what the Avengers are and doesn't know that Endgame is an Avengers movie, despite all the buzz around it. I understand it's there are people like that exist. I just think that's a very funny existence. They're like, what's this Endgame movie?
I mean, those people are out there, man.
Who's this Thanos they keep talking about?
Again, those people are out there. Yeah. They exist.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I'll talk about it more next episode. But there's a lot of Marvel characters like Iron Man before 2009 was not famous at all.
That's true. Yeah, but now he is.
Yeah, but even then,
again, he's attached to the Avengers name. He falls under that umbrella now.
Well, so
he's the brand.
He's a cultural icon at this point now. They didn't Bohemian Rhapsody didn't come out as Bohemian Rhapsody : a Freddie Mercury story, or a Queen story. You didn't need to put that in there because everybody
also didn't gross $1 million billion. Well,
they thought it was going to,
and it did.
Clearly they thought it was going to do that. So
and it didn't, because it didn't have Queen or Freddie Mercury.
If it had Bohemian Rhapsody, a Queen story, it would have been $1 million billion movie. That actually really
it would have sold more. I guarantee you it would have sold more.
Yeah.
Hey guys, guys. I think we're out of time.
Okay, bye.
This will be another half hour of us arguing.
Hey, it's good though. So I'm saying, but I want to thank you.